Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a review of the newest premium in the game, the WZ-114 Tier 9 Chinese Heavy Tank. Yeah. So we had a Tier 9 premium in the Sturf K show up. A little bit underwhelming. I think we knew that that was probably going to open the floodgates, and here we go. We're off to the races. Our second Tier 9 premium. This is going to give you more credits. It's going to give you bonds as well. Unlike other Tier 9s, this one will act like a Tier 10 in terms of bonds. And you got the free crew transfer. So more combat experience, more credits, you'll earn bonds, and you're going to be able to move crew around. We'll get to that in just a minute, whether that's really great or not, based on the way the different lines are set up on the Chinese. On the Chinese side, we got a little bit of goofiness going on there. I don't currently have it in my garage. I had it, then they took it out, and then they're going to recredit it. I don't know. It's complicated, I guess. I don't know. It says it's a part of a program to create a domestic vehicle. Chinese designers developed a project to build WZ-114 heavy tank. The vehicle is notably different from the IS counterparts. I'll be honest, it looks a lot like an ST-1 to me. And you might be forgiven to think that the armor might hold up like an ST-1 a little bit. Even though, as we all know, armor isn't that reliable in the game anymore. But my experience has been that it's not so great on the armor department. We're going to talk about a couple spots where it's caused me issues. A couple spots where it's caused me issues. I got a couple games in it. Slow. Armor isn't as good as it looks, in my opinion. Lowest DPM in class, but it's a premium. I think if you didn't look at the rest of this review, this is the takeaway. This is a tank that will reward slow, careful, hold down gameplay. If you like those kinds of tanks that are slow, careful, hold down kind of tanks to keep you out of trouble, this may be right up your alley. Hits pretty hard with a 530 Alpha, but the reload is atrocious and your DPM is, like I said, worst in class. But it will reward a slower, more careful, methodical kind of game style a lot more than it will a mobile game style. So there you go for the overview. Let's jump into the tech tree real quick. And we're going to actually do this from the comparison tool. Obviously, it's a premium, so you can move your crews. Now, a lot of the higher tier Chinese tanks have 4 crew members, which I think we will go to the tech tree, actually. A lot of the higher tier Chinese tanks have 4 crew members. Remember, there's also the 113, and then there's the Berlin Orchestra. The 113 has been moved over to whatever they call them, the special vehicles. Berlin Orchestra is a copy of that. They don't have the same layout. They have 4 crew members, but they don't have the radio operator in the same place. All right, so I believe the radio operator on the 111 here is on the commander, as I recall. There you go. Whereas on the 114, it is not on the commander. And that is very unfortunate. So we go like that. I'm sorry, the commander is the radio operator. It's on the 113 that he is not on the commander. So it does work for the tier 10 WZ-111 5A. All right, but it doesn't work for the 113. So there you go. Your radio operator switches positions. A little bit painful. We have a lot of examples of that in the game. All right. So let's do a comparison here, and then we'll take a quick look at the 3D model. What I have here is the Sturf K, which is the other Tier 9 premium. We have the WZ-111 1-4, the Tier 9 Tech Tree tank, and then we got the WZ-114. Firepower-wise, best in class at 530 Alpha. That's really nice. Penetration's good at 266. 310, I want to say, with the heat round. Rate of fire is down in the garbage because of a 19-second reload. Traverse is TD-like. That's like turreted TDs right there. Minus not 10 is really nice on the gun depression. Head and shoulders above the WZ. Aiming time will get you too. So a really long reload, a really long aim time for a fairly accurate gun, but waiting for the gun to zoom into its .32 or whatever you can get it to with extra bonuses and equipment and stuff. The way the game is played, you don't often have that much time. But again, if you're more of a careful hold down, taking a good amount of time to aim and picking your shots, that may be right up your alley. But if you're more of a maneuver, back and forth, peek over, peek-a-boom kind of person, that can be extremely painful because you're going to be taking a lot of shots without the best dispersion. It just takes so long to aim in. The problem with that too is you go, okay, I got a really strong turret, and we'll look at the turret profile in a minute. You go, I'm going to poke out, and then I'm going to aim in and take a shot, but everybody else is going to aim in on your weak spot first and fire before you're able to get yours aimed in and take your shot. So you're going to be vulnerable. They're going to fire and be moving, and you're going to whiff the shot. This should be the whiff-o-matic. I think the W actually stands for whiff. The WZ-114. All right. 1,658 DPM. Yikes. I don't get too crazy about DPM. There's another tank, Chinese by the way, and I believe it was last year's, the 122 TM, has a similar situation. Got panned a lot for the DPM. It's useful DPM that matters. This is a similar tank in that regard, but I just think the WZ ends up working a little bit better at tier 8. It struggles. This thing is going to struggle with this low of a DPM. It's not everything, but it's going to struggle. Now, here's a really fascinating part of this. It has tier 10 hit points. 2330 right there. Gets up to 2,500 or so if you chuck a hardening on it. So that's a whole nother hit from like a 400, 450, 500 alpha gun compared to the other two on there. One whole extra hit. Pretty impressive. You would think with 140 whole armor and 300 turret, which is better than both of these, that it would hold up. I'll show you what I've done with it. I have not seen that, but I've only got 20 battles, so it may be a bad number in terms of sample size. I'm just not seeing the armor be that good. And in my examples, I'll show you what I mean. So effective doesn't seem to be as good as this, but these are good numbers right here. Although side scraping, that's bad. 60, ouch, not good. Not good at all. All right, slow, guys, 33. So these are running circles around this thing. It's big and slow. Its specific power is low. Doesn't even get up and going very well. So mobility-wise, down in the turlet as well. Camo, as you would expect with a heavy tank. 390 is all right for view range. These two have better at 400, but 390 is not too bad. So what do we have on the WZ here? This is a very interesting balance decision. I think, along with the Sturf K, which I'm showing you as the corollary here, the first tier 9s they put out, they didn't want to make them head and shoulders above. So now they're able to do this power creep thing as they do, clearly, with their premiums, and they can continue to make better and better tier 9s. Although there's reward premiums at tier 9 that are head and shoulders above other tier 9s, so I don't know. We say the one thing, but you know, there's already evidence that there's overpowered tier 9s out there, because there's the concept of 1B, I'm looking at you, and the A phase 1, and the Char Fu Tour, and you know, that list goes on. But for premium tanks that make premium credits and bonds, they started off slow. And of course, we're doing the marathon for this thing. Break on the marathon. It's a little bit longer this time because it's a tier 9, but it's basically the same setup. I'm not gonna bog down through that. You guys know how those things work. So WZ-114, we have then an interesting situation. A hard-hitting gun at 530. Pretty cool. Good penetration. Really long reload. Really long aiming time. Not great gun soft stats. So it's the Whiff Master, all right? The WZ-114 and a lot of hit points. With armor that looks good, but is kind of questionable. That's what I found with this tank. So let's jump over to the 3D model. Check that out. Well, here it is, and it looks pretty dang good, doesn't it? You know, I mean, the hole is pretty thick. You know, you get a little bit look up, and it's already getting into ricochet area. You know, right there, ricochet, 2% chance, 300 effective. It's already 260. Even the lower plate's pretty good at 200. You know, tier 7s are going to struggle to just auto lull pin the lower plate. Look at the turret. Turret is really nice, but here's where it gets very interesting. The turret shape, you've got this kind of sloping down area right here. And then there is a weak spot back here in terms of that cupola, and then there's a big one up front. Let's just do that. So this one's forward, that one's to the rear right there. This is obviously the bigger target and fairly soft, so you're going to end up collecting shots right there. If you can come around to the left of something and block this thing with the wall or a piece of the cliff or whatever, that'll work really nicely. And you're looking pretty good here, although it says bounce and low chance, but you're only talking 300. I got pinned right here by a leopard. Just right through it. They got 323 or something like that with Preston 2. So just right through the turret, my friends. Right through the turret. And the angles are supposed to help, but look, if you, and it may have been a case of something like this, where I thought I had it straight on, but he had a slight angle, and then it just goes to really bad really quickly, just based on the way it's shaped right there. It's not really the rounded Russian-esque turret right there. It is straight on, but it doesn't take much before you're starting to get some flat plate stuff going on here. And then this right here, and you kind of look down up here, and this top of this turret's getting real squishy. Even so, I had guys shooting up that would go right through this part, even though it says ricochets. And I'm not sure, because sometimes the visual model of where you got hit isn't quite right, and the server saw something else, and all those things that go on. But one in particular that I remember had a big scar right through here, and it looked like half of it went into this hatch. So I don't know if it actually pinned the hatch or skidded along this and then went through the hatch. Who's to say? But I was surprised by that pin. So I just found this turret, for whatever reason, probably operator error to some extent, unlucky, I don't know what. It just didn't do what I thought a 300 millimeter turret would do. It was consistent. I consistently had pins and damage that I did not expect, or that I thought I probably had a pretty good chance of not getting, and it kept happening. So I don't know if the hitboxes are broken or just on the unique design. There's a lot of little nuances to it. One shot went straight through this thing. Right through that thing and right into the turret right behind it. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It does say 244, which isn't that much. 280 from that direction. So it's hard to tell, but it went right through that thing, which I would doubt is an actual hit point box. I mean, I guess you can go through it and into the stuff behind it, but bottom line, weird stuff with this thing's turret. It just did not hold up. Low sample size at 20 battles. So I'll show you a couple battles, and you guys can take a look at it for yourselves on what was going on with that. But I was surprised a little bit. I was definitely surprised. All right, I don't really have my setup because I've already... although I wonder if this was what I had done. No, I don't think so. No, that's not how I had it set up. The tank's not in my garage right now, so I can't really go through what the setup was. But I believe I was running vents. I had hardening in the bonus slot. I didn't have any of my field mods. I had hardening, vents, and rammer, I believe, is what I was running on the thing, just for your edification. And we'll see when we get in game. Like round 10, I think. Gold rounds, heat rounds, I think, somewhere around that area. Let's take a look at my stats, too, here real quick. We'll jump into the garage. We'll go to stats. See how I did. As I recall, I did okay. I had 20 battles in it exactly, so we'll find it here on the 20 exactly list somewhere. There we go. This is the armor thing I talked about. Armor use efficiency of only 0.34. I would have bet you money it would be 0.5 or above based on the armor layout. And again, 20 games is a low sample size, so maybe I just got a little bit unlucky. I would expect that to go up, I think, but I'm already surprised at how low it is, to be quite honest. 68% hit rate. I got 60% victories, but that's a game or two away from being 50%. So it looks good, but that's only 20 battles, so let's not get too crazy. 45% survival is decent, though, not bad. Damage ratio is low at 0.92. I think that speaks a lot to the DPG and DPM. The DPG is only 1961. Yikes. That is not much for a tier 9. I have a bunch of tier 8s that are better than that. I just found it difficult to get damage downrange in this thing because it just took so long to reload. If you're in a push, let's say you're getting pushed or you're in a push. You're fighting on a corner and you're being your careful hold down guy and you're cranking out your damage, but then the the thing starts to tip your way or their way. So either you're going to rush or they're going to rush. And a lot of times in that situation, you get side shots and you may get a burst of damage either on the push or even as they're coming at you. If you have a couple friends, maybe you get some good shots in, do a little wiggle jiggle, and you're able to crank out some damage. Well, good luck with that, with this thing, with how long it reloads, right? So what I found is I was able to influence battles by just being around with my hit points and what I thought was good armor, but didn't turn out to be great armor. So I'm actually sub 1.0 damage ratio. That blows my mind. Destruction's good at 1.82. 530 alpha will shut people down. That's a good thing. So it's a weird tank overall. It really is. And I only managed 3,150 as my best battle right there. There you go. That's how I did it. Let's take a look at some examples of gameplay. All right, first game is here on Cliff, and I'm going to give you a good example of how the gun treated me anyway, which was not well. Not well. Look for a shot on the side of the T-56. We get a big shot by the T-95. Let's see if we can find out where he hit us. Probably in the side of the turret. Yep. So I had my turret turned that way. There's that flat side. Once you flat plate that turret, stuff's going right through it. So he had no trouble pinning it because I was giving him a good flat plate. So we're going to right off the bat eat 693. Very slow. You can see how slow it is to back up. It feels a lot like a TD in terms of its maneuverability, like a T-30 or something like that. I mean, to be honest, it is quite a bit like a T-30. And I think it's, you know, it's the heavy cousin to the, what is it, the 114 or what is the Chinese TD that they've been talking about running around. So now we're going to try to hit this 45-02 Bravo. We're going to have a little duel with this guy. Just going to have to back out because once he starts coming up and over, he's going to get into my lower plate. Look how slow. Thinking about trying to put a shot into that upper plate, but probably not happening. The gold round, is it 311? I want to say it's 311. Yeah, it's 311. So we'll keep backing up to this rock right here. Get lit. Alright. Boy, that took forever. So we'll just go through the turret face of this thing, no problem, right? We'll just blast him. No idea. I don't even know where that went. Long reload. Okay, alright, now he's giving me lower plate. We got a long reload here. We'll come out. Alright, here we go. Try to go right in that lower plate. Alright, I didn't wait to zoom, but right into the dirt. So you can see there was another few seconds of zoomage right there, or maybe a second and a half on that 3.5 or so reload. So okay, long reload. Alright, here we go. So we'll get him this time. Just zoom in, let's go right into that lower plate. It looks like it went right into the crease. Looks like the upper plate got hit right there. I did consider HE at that point. And remember, this is a .32 gun. That's the bottom plate and a bounce. Bottom plate and a bounce. With heat, doesn't lose pen on the way. It is look down, so I was actually had a worse angle than the standard angle of the lower plate. Plus he was angled sideways ever so slightly, so that was a much better angle overall. That went right over top. This is what I found with this gun, man. A couple hasty shots in there, a couple shots nicely aimed, didn't go where I needed them to. One of them did. He just has a lot of armor down there in the lower plate. I mean, I remember when I was playing this game and I was watching that 4502, and I said, if I drive a 4502 like that, I am dead within 2 shots. There is no way in hell that I survive that many shots from somebody firing heat at me. But there you go. He did. This was kind of a poor decision. I'm falling back, hoping I can maybe shoot him across from over here, or maybe cover any of the guys who might be coming up from the bottom. I'm able to get over here without being seen, but I think I make one more move, and then I get seen by their Skoda T-56 that's sitting in the middle. Just trying to figure out a way to get a shot here. We have 0 damage, folks. The game has been going on for 5 minutes. Everything I have shot has missed or bounced. And I'm telling you, this is how I found this tank nearly every game. Absolute struggle to get it to do anything. And it just doesn't have the mobility and flexibility to get around the map. I think I actually get a kill here. Yeah, no, it hit. I mean, that was just pure RNG, right? I wasn't even fully zoomed. I just lobbed a shot, and it looks like it. I don't know if it went into that hatch or if it actually went into the flat plate of his face there, and I just had enough pin to do it. It was looked down, so that angle wasn't helping him. The slight angle it has wasn't helping. And I roll a big 539. Can't find the 4502B. Alright, let's move on to the next one. I just wanted to show you that one because that's how the gun felt to me nearly every time. Alright, top tier on Kharkovdorf. If I wasn't missing everything and I was winning, which I did okay with. I mean, I won 6 out of 4, right? 12 out of 20 to get 60%. This is the kind of game it felt like. I never really had that breakout game. I never felt like this thing was dominating or that I was unstoppable. But if I had a win, I got some damage. I was important to the win, and that was about it. Now watch this. Okay, so the Scorpion got me. Boink! Now that's what I said. If you're going to stand there for that long, you're probably going to get somebody, especially if it's a Scorpion you can't see. Just we went right through that weak spot. Which is a little bit surprising because he did get into a bit of the angled part. So I don't know how the math works on that, whether it's the very tip center of where the shell hits, that where it counts the penetration or whatever. But that seems like a weird place, but it went through. And I'm thinking here, because this was fairly early in the journey. I'm like, well, you know, this turret's pretty good. Let's test it out. And I saw that and went, well, okay, fair enough. He aimed at a weak spot and got it. Okay, fine. We're fine. Just come in here and we'll see if we can... Well, the Saint Emil got HE into me, so I just shoot into the back. Saint Emil just decides to carve 39 off of me. I'm holding a good number of tanks here. I mean, I've got 3 of them, plus the Scorp and the Emil. So I'm not too bummed about that, to be honest. I'd love to get in there and get some damage and get things moving, but there's only me right now. So just keep working on this IS-3. This is one of the ones I was talking about, and I had several where I was hit in that position. I had several where I was hit right there, and that's the Leopard I was talking about got me right there. So I'm not sure what's going on, if that actually was rolled as a pin to that hatch back there, or I mean, he's low. He's actually lower than I am, so it's slight lookup. He's at least even, so I don't think I made the angle worse. From what I could tell on tanks.gg, that looks like, to me anyway, let's bring it up here. No, that's me. I mean, it looks like it should be a ricochet, right? I mean, let's just even say he was higher than me by a bit, but he wasn't. Ricochet, right? Automatic bounce. Impacted armor 90 millimeters, so it's not a triple overmatch. So I feel like he actually pinned that, even though the hole doesn't quite look like that's what happened. Just really odd. You know what I mean? There's an explanation, and it probably is that he got into the hatch right there. Otherwise, I can't really figure it out. And like I said, multiple instances of the same pin. Like, people know it. I don't know. Maybe he was going for the hatch, and that's what he had. I mean, there is a hole in the hatch right there, right? So That definitely a hole right there, but just the way I mean, that hole looks like it. That to me looks like it should have rolled off that armor in terms of the pen, and that looked like an auto bounce angle to me based on what I was looking on tanks.gg. I mean, he'd have to be quite a bit taller than me, and I don't think he's even taller than this thing. They're at least even in terms of height. It was very strange. So yeah, I took a while to check that out. I was actually looking at that during the game. That's why I wasn't doing anything. Like, well, how did that happen? So we'll have to turn the whole end of the turret around. One thing to watch out for this tank, and I found this a couple times, some of the American tanks have the same problem. When you have these really long rear ends on your turrets, and you start turning around and cover like this, you know, say someone's over here, you can kind of present that side of the turret to people from different angles. So be careful when you're doing stuff like that. It will stick out quite a ways. So we got a couple hits of damage, one by just somebody YOLOing in. I mean, just... I'm looking at it again going, I don't understand. You can see the 4502 is pushed in over there, and he's not really looking. So we'll just come in here. We're going to aim in, and we're going to whiff it. It goes right... it just goes right underneath him, man. Now, again, granted, I did not wait for it to zoom in, but I felt like I didn't have time to do that. I've come out and exposed myself. I know there's a Scorpion and a mill, and there's an IS-3A over there, so I don't have a lot of time with my turret turned really sideways to try to get a shot. I'm telling you, snapshots with this thing are pure misery. You're just absolutely going to whiff. And that's a great example of it right there. If I'd had a little more time and zoomed in some more, probably have a better opportunity of pinning it, but that wasn't really a very long-range shot, and it should have had a pretty good chance, but I mean, when you're talking 3.5 seconds to zoom in, it's painful. Look at this. Dun, 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 dun. Still not all the way zoomed in, folks. I actually did hit that Santa Mill, and that might have been the shot that hit him. So I got 500 or so off of him. Really want to go help the Su-101, but I just can't push in. Now notice I got spotted doing that. More than likely, that was the back of my turret. As I swung around, I actually poked the turret back out where they could see it. Now, we got the IS-3A over here, so I'm going to switch things up. We're starting to lose, so we've got to make something happen. Look, I'm not even reloaded yet. I'm still loading this daggum long reloading gun. I don't know if he knows I'm coming or what. I don't think so. He does now. So we're going to come over here. The 101 got rid of the 4502, so good on him. I'm wondering if the Scorpion's going to make a push. Kills that guy, and then here he comes. He's fired, so I know he's on a reload. Alright, that time it worked. That was certainly not a fully reloaded shot. Probably not worried about the mill. If you notice the where is that thing? Is he dead? Oh, the IS-3A is dead, so I wasn't worried about him coming around the corner. And now I'm chasing the Scorpion. We're making a little bit of a comeback here. And I've got HE set up for the Scorp. Sort of expected him to be sitting here waiting for me, but he's run off a little bit further. I do get lit going there. Probably the mill, falling back over to the middle someplace. I know I need to go work on the A phase 1 and the other guys in the middle. The 100-01's doing some yeoman's work over there, and I'm like, alright, I need to get rid of this Scorpion, so we'll just come around here. Try to square up. Hopefully we don't give him too good of a shot into the side, but he gets it anyway. And we blow him up. He gets all blowed up. Looks like HE actually works out for me in that case. Get all of his hit points with the HE. It is a 130mm gun, so 530 alpha, the HE is pretty nice on it. Artie, of course, has to have their say. And our heavies, to their credit, clean up in the middle. I mean, we were kind of losing, and they hold tight there. I'm able to deal with most of the guys in the wheel, chasing them around a little bit. Nice work by the 101 pushing in and giving me some relief on the VK, helping me get rid of him. He actually pretty much got rid of him himself since I missed my shot. So shout out to that guy, the Duhopos from Clan Rel-A. And we'll just start moving around here through the middle. And as I recall, I don't do a whole bunch more. I've got 2100. In fact, I may not even get another shot. I don't think I do. Maybe one. I know there's the one blind shot on the mill that happened. Oh yeah, here we go. Whoop! Just not fully loaded, fully zoomed either, man. It takes so long. Your timing, you've really got to dial back your timing on how long you think it's going to take to reload. Or sorry, zoom in, not reload. Well, reload as well because it's super long on the reload too. All right, there we go. Look how big that. Okay, boom. All right, that time it worked, and I don't get another shot on the Scorpion. They collapse. So it's 2,000. I want to say 800 or something like that. By the time we add in the blind shot there, we'll come out with 4 kills. There's the turret thing I was talking about. 2 good examples of it. There's the weak spot. There's the odd situation on the top there. That, like I said, I saw that happen several times. Super long zoom in for the aim time. Dispersion's good, but it just doesn't feel that way based on the bad soft stats. Dispersion after firing, moving, turret turning, all that. Just the old length of zoom in to begin with, and then the long ass reload time. So I'm not even going to bother going back to the garage with this. This was a weird one for me. I can often find something good to say about a tank, and I think I still can with this. If you are a slow plotting hold down guy, it has -10. It does have a good turret. It's just don't trust it too much. Don't rely on it too much. It should get you some bounces, but it does have some weirdness to it. But its lack of DPM, its lack of mobility, the super long aim time, the terrible DPM for a heavy tank, there's a lot working against this tank. A lot working against this. And while I don't normally say it's not worth your time or it's worth your time, that's up to you, this would not be worth my time other than as a collector. It's a difficult tank to like. Now, what I fully expect to happen now that I've said that is a year from now it's going to be near the top, right? Because the alpha is nice. It hits hard. The hit points are more important than you would think because they're so significantly higher than other tier 9 heavies. They're in tier 10 heavy regime. It's going to keep you in the fight longer along with the armor, which is, okay. Like I said, the armor thing could be operator error on my part. So that will keep you around, and that's useful because you need to be around longer because it takes you so daggone long to shoot and to aim. So there is a quality in the quantity of your hit points. It's a little bit hard to quantify, but it's there. And that is spoken to quite a bit with my 45% survival rate. You're just going to be able to make it to mid to late game. And that's why I say with careful, say you're an average, careful, more plotting, considered player, this may be right up your alley. Because it's going to be forgiving in terms of hit points. If you give some away, it's not as bad as it might otherwise be. The armor's not too bad. The speed's not going to get you in trouble. And if you aim carefully, you're going to be rewarded with 530 alpha. And then you can hide for a good 20 minutes, and you'll be ready to shoot again. All right. Like I said, it's a weird one, man. I don't know. There's some things I like, but overall, it's worth it because I like all the tanks in the game, and I'm a collector. I don't think it's a great tank, though. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, that's it for my review of the WZ, the WZ-114. That's all I've got. Let me know what you think down below. Are you going for this tank? Are you looking for the discount? Trying to get it for free, ignoring it? What's your plan? That's all I've got for today. We will see ya.